beautiful. Excellent essays. Wow, wow, wow. Proverbs: a friend in need is a friend indeed. We should have few friends and they must be true friends. People have many friends in prosperity, but they cannot be called friends unless they are tested. It is in the moment of need that we know our true friend. False friends do not stand by us in adversity. This proves the truth of the proverb. There are people who like to have many friends, but this should not be so. We should not have not only a few friends, but they must be true friends. A friend is one who can share our joys and sorrows. Rich people may have many friends in their prosperity and like to enjoy themselves at the expense of those who are rich. Most of them are only fair weather friends. If the rich person loses his money, all his friends will leave him. This shows that they are not true friends. They failed the test of friendship. It is adversity that tests friendship. If a man is in trouble or in need and his friends stand by him, that is a true friend. A good friend will never desert a man in his fateful days. One is reminded of an old story about two men and a bear. Two men who were supposed to be friends were crossing a forest. Suddenly they saw a bear coming towards them. One man immediately climbed a tree, leaving the other to face the bear alone. The other man could not find trees, so he threw himself flat on the ground and pretended to be dead. The bear came up to him and smelt him all over. Thinking he was dead, the bear walked away. The man who was up on the tree came down. He asked his friend what the bear had whispered in his ear. The other man, being clever, saying, "The bear told me not to trust any man who runs away from me when I am in danger." This story proves that a friend in need is a friend indeed. Rome was not built in a day. A splendid city of Rome in Italy took a long time to build. Much time and many efforts went into the building. Everything worthwhile takes time to do. We must be patient and persistent in our efforts. If we lose patience and we want quick results, we shall never do anything worthwhile in life. The proverb "Rome was not built in a day" means that it takes a long time to do anything worthwhile in life. A child takes a long time to learn to walk. He cannot hope to run before he has learned to walk. He must do everything step by step. In the matter of education, getting knowledge is a very slow process. It takes a lot of time to learn to read and write. Whatever the art or skill you wish to master, it is going to take a good deal of time to master it. The English poet, 10 years to write the masterpiece, John Milton, Paradise Lost, which is his great epic. The Taj Mahal of the wonders of world took several years to build. It is therefore proved that to do great things to require a lot of time. Patience and persistence are the two qualities we need to do anything worthwhile in life. We must not lose patience if we find that we do not achieve the quick results. We must also be persistent. We must keep on trying even if our efforts do not meet adequate success. With patience and persistence, we are bound to succeed in anything we do. Those who have no patience and persistence may never hope to do anything worthwhile. They will never be able to put in sufficient efforts and work long enough to complete a task, and they will not achieve success in life. Mock not a cobbler his black thumbs. A cobbler's thumb get black because of the work he does. He should not be despised for that. We should not despise anyone on account of the work he does. However humble that work may be, there is dignity in honest work. Everyone must be taught to respect the dignity of labor. A cobbler does a humble job. He makes an honest living by mending shoes. In the course of his work, his hands become dirty and his thumbs get black. So we should not despise him or make fun of him because of his black thumbs. There are many humble and but useful jobs that people have to do. All of them play an important role in society. For instance, a street sweeper's work is very humble. Yet the city would be a dirty place if the sweeper were not there. He does the useful job, so we should not despise him on account of his job. The same is true for cobbler. A certain dignity is there in all kinds of honest labor. We should not look down upon anyone because he does a humble job. Each laborer has his own dignity. We should respect the dignity of each human being. No one loses his dignity because he happens to be a poorly paid job. All of us must learn to respect the dignity of labor. We should not be ashamed to do any kind of job provided that it is honest. Children must learn to respect every laborer. However poor he may be, our country will improve only when we have a high sense of values and no false pride. Slow but steady wins the race. People gain success if they are slow but steady in their work. Even clever people may fail if they work by fits and starts, and truth of the proverb is seen in the story of the hare and the tortoise. Nothing is gained by being hasty and careless. It results in waste and loss of time. What one needs to succeed is the ability to work hard. Success comes to those who are slow but steady in their work. It is not necessary to be very clever in order to succeed in life. Even clever people may fail if they work by fits and starts. Take, for example, a clever student who's lazy. He works only now and then. He's never regular at his studies. He might fail in his exam. His failure is due to the fact that he did not work slowly and steadily. The truth of the proverb is still illustrated by the story of the hare and the tortoise. The hare challenged the tortoise to a race. He was sure he would succeed because he would run much faster. He ran ahead and the tortoise was left far behind. So the hare decided to rest and have a nap. The tortoise went slowly and steadily on. The hare woke up after his nap. He found that the tortoise was very near to the goal. He leapt forward, but it was of no use. The tortoise had won the race because it had moved slowly and steadily. Nothing is gained by being hasty and careless. It is better to be slow and careful in one's work. Those who do things hastily sometimes make many mistakes. Then much time is lost as the work has to be done all over again. It is better to be slow and steady. To conclude, we might say that one needs to succeed is the ability to work hard and do one's work with patience and perseverance. Time is money. Time is very precious. The most valuable thing once lost can never be regained. Our success and failure depends on the right use of time. People have become famous and rich by making right use of time. So we should use time carefully and never waste time. Time is very precious. It is the most valuable thing in the world. Once it is lost forever and can never be regained. Our success or failure in life depends on the right use of time. A student who makes good use of his time will have no difficulty in passing an exam. One who has wasted his time and not studied will not be able to pass in spite of being clever. If an a worker who makes full use of his time to do good work will be much appreciated. He will get promotions. Idle employees who just waste time will receive no promotions. They cannot come up in life. So our success or failure depends on the right use of time. People have become famous and rich by making good use of time. The research workers and the scientists use their time to improve the lot of human beings. By making proper use of their time, they become famous. So also the merchants and the professionals who work hard make a lot of money. They know how to make good use of their time. By knowing how precious the time is, we should never waste time, but make good use of it. A burnt child dreads the fire. A burnt child is afraid of the fire. A bad experience makes us careful. Experience is the best teacher. No amount of advice is of any use. It is soon forgotten. We learn best from our personal experience. This proverb says that a burnt child dreads like fire. Dreads the fire. If a child goes too near a fire, it will burn itself. The burnt will make it suffer a pain. It will also teach it to be careful. It will be very cautious in approaching fire again. In fact, it will avoid fire because it is afraid of it. For this, we learn this experience is the best teacher. We learn best from our own experiences. We pay a heavy price for our bad experiences, so we do not forget them in a hurry. Other people might try their best to give us good advice, but we might turn a deaf ear to their advice. We may not remember it, but our own bad experiences are the only ones that we remember. This proverb applies not only to fire, but to any kind of painful experience. If a child cuts itself with a knife, it will be afraid to hold the knife in its hand again. If it falls from a swing, it will not dare to sit on a swing again. We learn to become wise and to take notice after we have suffered in some way or the other. It proves that experience is the best teacher. Where there is a will, there is a way. A strong will is what we need to succeed in life. No difficulty is too great for him who has determination. Examples of those who have swept away obstacles so to become great. Only weak will complain about difficulties. They are unsuccessful through their own fault. A strong will is what we need to succeed in life. If we are determined to work hard, no task will be too difficult. We will keep on working and struggling in order to succeed. No difficulty is too great for people who are determined to do things. For example, when our country was under foreign rule, it was difficult to task to fight for independence. Yet men like Gandhiji were determined to fight for freedom. Their strong will and determination helped them to win independence for our country without the use of any weapons. It is a moral strength that helped them to succeed in their work. There are many instances of people who have attained greatness in spite of being poor and handicapped. Abraham Lincoln was born very poor, yet his determination helped him to educate himself and become the president of USA. In our own country, we have a similar example of Lal Bahadur Shastri. Helen Keller managed to become a great in spite of handicaps of blindness, dumbness, and deafness. Great people sweep aside all obstacles in their path and manage to reach their goal. If people are unsuccessful in life, they have only themselves to blame for their failure. Only those who have weak wills complain about difficulties and stop trying to do great things. Difficulties are about stepping stones to success in the face of strong-willed people. To weak-willed and lazy people, they are stumbling blocks, so success or failure in life depends entirely on the will of man. Example is better than precept. Action is easy to imitate, instructions rather not follow. Most learned lessons result of seeing actions better than man of action. Man of words alone not preferred, they are avoided. Action speaks louder than verses in a common saying. And action done for us to see is easier to imitate than doing it after a detailed instruction. Similarly, when I see my teacher behaving in a kind and loving manner, I find it easy and meaningful to become kind and loving myself. If, on the other hand, my teacher were harsh and unkind and tell me to be loving and kind, I would find it the order difficult to follow. Today I'm able to read and write because my teacher did the same for me again and again so I could do what I saw them doing. Another very old saying would say is much the same thing as practice what you preach. This saying points at those who are in the habit of telling people what to do and what not to do without bothering to do likewise themselves. We should always strive hard to do the right thing. Always, I should not expect others to do the things right if I do it right myself. It would be proper, therefore, either to stop telling people what to do and what not to do, or start and make a habit of practicing what one wants to preach about. A very good reason to do it is found in the saying, example is better than precept. Health is better than wealth. Health, care of body, strength, real wealth, proper nutrition, not to eat what you do not like, eat what we should, wholesome foods, avoid junk food, regular exercise, resist disease, proper regular sleep. It is said that a healthy body has a healthy mind. A person whose body and mind are healthy is a happy man. For the mind to work properly, the healthy environment of the body is must. We must therefore pay great attention to the need of keep our bodies healthy all the time. The first requirement of a healthy body is proper nutrition. It is not necessary that everything we eat should be only that which we like to eat. If we eat only such, then most certainly we will soon fall sick. We must eat wholesome, balanced food that is homemade, which our parents provide us with. We should eat well and do so happily and at the proper timings. We must avoid roadside junk foods, which is often very tempting. The second requirement of healthy body is regular outdoor games or exercise. Exercise helps our body to grow strong. These help our bodies to resist disease and germs and thus prevent us from falling sick. Regular exercise should be a daily habit. Thirdly, it is only natural for our bodies to tire after work, and by the end of the day, our body requires proper rest in the form of sleep or for 8 hours a day. Honesty is best policy. Honesty, true in word and deed. Just never cheat, never steal. An example of dishonesty never pays in the long run. Truth prevails in the earth. To be honest, one has to be true in word and deed. An honest person tells the truth. He's just in what he thinks. He never thinks of cheating anybody else. He always keeps the promises he makes. He sees a lot of dishonesty around us. We see people who are dishonest quite happy after doing dishonest acts such as telling lies, cheating, stealing, and being unjust. But as soon as their acts are discovered, they get punished and become miserable. In a school also we see the same thing. When a boy steals his friend's new watch, he's happy. But as soon as the teacher finds out the punishment, he cries and becomes very sad. A friend of mine once got 0 out of 10 in a spelling test. He quietly put a 1 in front of the 0. The teacher saw it in the next day and called for his parents. Everybody was very angry with him for his dishonesty. He was very sorry for teaching. Being dishonest may make a person happy for a short while, but he's afraid inside. He's afraid of being caught. Truth never stays hidden too long. It comes out one way or another, and dishonesty gets punished. An honest person has nothing to fear. He never tells lies. He's respected and loved by all. Dishonesty brings with it unhappiness and loneliness. Honesty is therefore the best policy, and we should be honest and be happy always. Homework, no pains, no gains. Nothing worthwhile can be achieved without hard work. A student appearing for an exam cannot be well without putting in a lot of study. Waste of time and idleness leads to bad results. To earn money, one has to work hard. One cannot expect to be well paid unless one works hard. In games and sports, one cannot gain medals and trophies without hard work and hours of regular practice. A great musician has to put in hours of hard work to gain skill in his art. There is much struggle and hardship to do anything worthwhile. Prevention is better than cure. It is better to take steps to avoid harm than allow it to happen and then try to set it right. If there is an epidemic or the cholera or smallpox or small infection disease, one must get one half self-vaccinated and inoculated to be immune from disease. If the weather is cold, one must protect oneself from the cold wearing warm clothes. It is better to prevent cold and pneumonia by keeping warm than to get sick and then try to get cured. One should guard oneself against the pickpockets rather than allow oneself to be robbed and think of punishing the offender. Proper care must be taken to protect oneself from all harm. Empty vessels make the most noise. Those who think little talk much. Foolish people make a lot of noise. They like to hear the sound of their own voice. Wise people think a lot. They speak little and do much. They believe in doing things rather than talking about them. Great people do everything silently. They do not boast of their achievements. Foolish people do very little and boast too much about themselves. When we come across noisy people, we know that they are neither wise nor great. A man is known by the company he keeps. Our friends influence our character. If we keep good company, men think we are good. If we associate with bad people, others will think that we too are bad. We must be careful in our choice of friends. Men will judge us by our friends. If we have dishonest and idle people as our friends, men will think that we are all idlers and dishonest people. The best people can be corrupted by bad companions. We should cultivate the friendship of good people and improve ourselves. There is no education like adversity. The best people in the school of life, we learn best in this school for practical experience. Adversity or hardship is the fire in which the metal of our character is tested. When gold is put into the fire, it comes out brighter and more shining than before. When character is tested by hardship, people can prove their greatness. Most of the great people in this world were educated in the school of adversity. They overcame obstacles and became great. There's no education like adversity. Those who lead easy and comfortable life rarely become great or do anything worthwhile in life. Look before you leap. Consider the consequences carefully before you decide to take an important step in life. Do not foolishly rush into any action. If you jump into the sea without knowing to swim, you will surely drown. If you dishonest and corrupt, someday you will be caught and punished. If you appear for an examination without proper preparation, you will surely fail. If you waste your time foolishly, someday you may be great in need of money and not have it in everything we do. We must think carefully of the future before we decide to act. The pen is mightier than the sword. The pen stands for writers and the sword for soldiers. Writers and authors are more important than soldiers. Soldiers fight battles and defend their country. Great military leaders dazzle people for a while, but they are soon forgotten. Writers give the world mental treasures. They write great works, which are handed down from one generation to another. Their works are enjoyed by hundreds of years. Writers have greater influence than military leaders. Books are read and enjoyed by people all over the world. The victories of military leaders are restricted in scope. Great military leaders of the past are soon forgotten, but great authors are read and enjoyed. Even today, hence, authors have great influence than soldiers. Necessity is the mother of invention. Ancient man had very little to satisfy his needs. As he realized each need, he found a way to satisfy it. When he needed clothes, he covered himself with the skins of the animals for warmth. He discovered how to make a fire. As he became civilized, his needs became more complicated. He invented reading and writing. He invented machines to relieve him of work. Also, all kinds of comforts and luxuries for speedy travel trains and airplanes. Speedy communication man has an inventive genius. His brain helps him to find a way out of every difficulty. He provides himself with everything he needs. Exercise for practice. Make hay while the sun shines. A stitch in time saves nine. All that glitters is not gold. The child is the father of man. Knowledge is power. Virtue is its own reward. Idleness is the rust of the mind. Rest not, want not. Well begun is half done. Failure is the stepping stone of success. Strike while the iron is hot. When money speaks, truth is silent. Fools dream, wise men plan and act. Laughter is the best medicine. Speech is silver, silence is gold. Money is the root of all evil. A wise enemy is better than the foolish friend. East or west, home is best. First deserve, then desire. Borrowed garments never fit well. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Birds of a feather flock together. One swallow does not make a summer. A full purse never lacks friends. Self-conquest is the greatest of victories. Reflective themes. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Past and present achievements, comforts and pleasures, electricity, means of travel, conquest of diseases, new lease of life, transplants. Science has changed the face of the world. It has also revolutionized the life of man. One can now live a longer and more comfortable life because of the progress of science. Man has conquered nature with the help of science. The wonders of science have contributed to the comforts and pleasures of man. Man can be comfortable anywhere on the surface of Earth. Air conditioning can keep him cool at the equator. Central heating makes it possible for him to keep warm at the poles. He has become independent of the climate. Labor-saving gadgets have lightened the burden of the housework on the house you. Science has also added to our pleasure. We can turn on the radio or television and entertain ourselves at home if we wish to for outdoor entertainment. We can go and see a film or do a variety of other things. Electricity is one of the wonders of science. Without it, we would not have had electric lights, fans, refrigerators, and all about the labor-saving devices in the home. We also have wonderful means of travel. Cars and buses are very common. Electric trains carry us across the land with great speed. Jet planes go like a flash across the sky. In no time, we can be in another continent. This speedy travel is possible only on account of the wonders of science. Electricity also enables us to use elevators and escalators that save us the trouble of going up and down the flights of stairs. Science has also provided us with spectacles and contact lenses, artificial limbs, fountain pens, typewriters, mechanical pens, and computers. Aren't all these the wonders of science? It is a wonder that science has conquered diseases. Man made healthier and lengthened the span of human life. There is now a cure for practically every fatal disease that used to take a heavy toll of human life in the past. Not only this, still more wonderful is the fact that worn out organs like the human heart and kidney can be replaced by transplants. If the future, perhaps science might be able to make one live forever. With the help of science, man has even reached the moon. Soon he will be visiting other planets too. There is no limit to the wonders of science. Scientists are coming out with new inventions and wonders every now and then. The atom bomb and nuclear weapons are also wonders of science. As these can cause much destruction, it would be better for men to make constructive use of wonders of science. Then only they will add to the happiness and prosperity of mankind. The Indian village of tomorrow. Better housing and sanitation, better roads and lighting, the green revolution, the educational facilities, no illiteracy, modern agricultural methods, prosperous and smiling farmers. The Indian village of tomorrow will be an ideal village. There will be small, well-kept houses, and villagers will be taught how to pay proper attention to cleanliness. Small and badly ventilated huts will have disappeared. The villages will now have narrow, dusty lanes, will have broad roads and good lighting arrangements. The green revolution will take place. The farmers will have bigger and better fields. Village dwellers will have all facilities for education. They will be in school in every village. Electricity will no longer be there. The Indian village of tomorrow will be a place where modern farming methods are followed. The fields will be plowed with the aid of tractors. Chemical fertilizers will increase the yield of every field. There will be not only crops but also quality farming. Last but not the least, the villagers, the farmers will be happy and prosperous. They will get a good price for the crop, and they will be free from debt. They will no longer be at the mercy of the money lenders. All these changes and improvements will, I hope, be there in the Indian village of tomorrow. There will also be cooperation and the spirit of brotherhood in the Indian village of tomorrow. It will be a very good place to live in for both men and cattle. Habits. All have habits. Anything done repeatedly becomes a habit. Habits may be good or bad. Necessary to cultivate good habits and avoid bad ones. Good habits help us succeed in life. All of us have habits. Anything that is done repeatedly becomes a habit. Once we get into the habit, we do a thing without thinking about it. Habits may be good and bad. Rising early, working hard, being punctual are good habits. Gambling, swearing, lying, using bad language, drinking, stealing, quarreling are bad habits. It is necessary to cultivate good habits and avoid bad ones. There is a saying that habits are at first cobwebs, but afterwards cables. This shows that habits might be weak at first, but once they become strong, they are difficult to break. Hence, we should try to acquire only good habits. Everyone respects a man who has good habits. Good habits help one to succeed in life. A person with bad habits is despised and mocked at. Childhood is at the right time to instill good habits in children. If a child grows up with bad habits, no one can make him undo them when he grows up. Hence, parents should be careful to see that children have only good habits. Gambling. Gambling is a bad habit. Yet, it is an old habit that existed in ancient India. We learn from our epics that the Pandavas and the Kauravas used to gamble. People gamble because they want to get rich quickly. Gambling is a kind of shortcut to riches. Everyone would like to follow an easy way to make money. There are different forms of gambling. Some may gamble with cards or dice, others may play matka or bet on horses. Buying lottery tickets and trying crossword puzzles are the forms of gambling. Some forms of gambling like cards, dice, and matka are illicit. Others are permitted by the law. Those are crosswords, lotteries, and horse racing. Illicit forms of gambling should not be encouraged by people. Even buying lotteries and betting on horses should be done within limits. The disadvantage of gambling is that it becomes a craze. Gamblers neglect their families. They spend all their earnings on gambling. They hardly ever win any money. They lose money by gambling. They sometimes commit suicide. Many families have been ruined by gambling, so gambling should be avoided. The uses of electricity. Electricity is a wonder of modern science. It is very useful to us both inside and the outside house. Electricity is useful inside every modern home. Its simplest use is in the form of the lights and fans. We also use the electric doorbell and electric eye, electric stove and oven for cooking. Our food remains fresh because it is kept in refrigerator and electrical device. Our clothes can be washed by a washing machine which also runs on electricity. An electric mixture can be used to prepare lassi, fruit juices and chutneys. If we want to entertain ourselves, we can turn on the radio and television set which both depend on electricity. When we step out of our house, we can use to lift it to take up downstairs. We can travel by trams and electric trains and go at an amazing speed. In an office, we can control the heat by using an air conditioner. If we see a movie, we also make use of electricity. There we realize that electricity has many advantages. We just cannot do without it. The blessings of peace. There is nothing like peace. During a war, a country is in a disturbed state. In peacetime, everyone feels safe and secure. No one feels that his life and property might be destroyed at any time. A country has a chance to progress when there is peace. It can plan all its activities for the advancement of its people. During wartime, a lot of money is wasted on arms and equipment. The same money is utilized for public welfare in peacetime. Agriculture and other normal occupations may be carried on in times of peace. During war times, the farmer has neither rest nor peace of mind to till his land and also his crop. In other occupations too, all able-bodied men are required to join the army in the wartime. No normal life is disrupted. When there is peace, the scientist can carry on his research and the artist can create beautiful things. These activities cannot be carried on in wartime. Most important of all is the fact that people are calm and happy in times of peace. Families live happy Lead together, each one realizes his ambitiousness in his own way. The war times, people will live in a constant worry. They do not know what they will get. Bad news and sorrow will enter their lives. So peace is preferable to war because of its many blessings. The order of war. War is a great evil. It brings only misery and unhappiness to human beings. War deprives people of their peace of mind. They live in constant suspense. War also leads to destruction of human life and property. Many soldiers are killed in the battlefield, but civilians too are not safe. Their bombs are thrown, civilians die, and houses, bridges, and important installations are blown up. There is a personal and national loss of property. War brings about the destruction in the normal life of people. Most of the young men join the army. Few are left to do civilian jobs. For normal occupations can be carried on in wartime. War is a state of men, power, and national funds. Countless young men lose their lives in the war. Women and children too are killed in bombings. National funds, which could have been used for public welfare, are diverted to a war effort. They are used to purchase arms and ammunition. A country cannot improve and progress during a war. War is a shattering and yet another way it ruins the lives of those who are crippled and maimed in the battlefield. Those who live have lost their arms and legs have to start life all over again. They have to be rehabilitated. The battlefield itself is a gruesome sight. Some of the soldiers are blown by bits of shells and smell machine guns. Others, like ones, are wounded and helpless. There are moans and groans coming from all directions. War is bad even if its after effects. Innumerable families become homeless. Many lose their breadwinners. Others become neurotics or nervous wrecks. War imposes an additional burden on the country. People have to pay extra taxes to make up for the losses suffered during the war. Considering all these horrors and disadvantages, we realize that war is a foolish thing. Advertisements. Advertisements are to be seen everywhere. Wherever we go, advertisements stare us in the face. Along roads, at railway station, on trains and buses, you will find any number of advertisements. There are different kinds of advertisements. First of all, there are advertisements in newspapers. All kinds of goods and services are advertised in newspapers. One can know about vacancies for jobs, what films are being displayed, and what goods are available. Then there are outdoor advertisements in the form of hoardings, neon signs, and the balloons, as well as those on trains and buses. Advertisements done over the radio, television, and also through slides and prints in theaters. Advertising is a necessity of modern times. Some people have goods and services for sale. Others have many good things. So the public must know what things are available, which is done through advertisement. The advantage of advertising is that we are acquainted with the various goods and services available in the market. We have a wide range of things to choose from. The disadvantage is that the advertising is a costly affair. Advertising raises the cost of a product. The manufacturers have to sell a thing at higher rate in order to make up for the cost of advertising. Again, we are likely to be bored by the commercial advertising over the radio, television, etc. The program is constantly interrupted to do some commercial advertising. Sometimes the cinema posters put up at public places can be very obscene and disgusting, yet we have no place in the matter. Choices. We have to put up with advertising because it has come to stay. Wow, we live in these, not in years. Many people live to a ripe old age. They die at the age of 18, 19, or even 100 years, yet they die very soon forgotten. This is because they have not done anything but violent life. The worth of human life should not be judged by its length. There are several eminent people who have done great service to others and contributed to the welfare and happiness of humanity, such as the scientists, the poets, the artists, the social reformers, and the score of others, and many more of these. People lived a very short life upon the earth, but they made use of their time. They won for themselves a time fame during the short span of life. Some of the great English poets like Keats, Shelley, Byron died very young, yet their works survive to this day. They continue to delight the people all over the world. There are deeds of great actions that make life worthwhile. The soldier who lays down his life for his country in the battlefield dies young, but he does not really die, he becomes immortal. He continues to live in the hearts of his grateful countrymen. There is a well-known saying, one crowded hour of glorious life is worth an age without a name. How true this saying is, it means that it does not matter if our lives are brief. If that brief hour of life we must crowd as much achievement as possible, we must do something memorable. then we will live forever. If we live for an age that is very long time and do nothing but mindless note, we will soon be forgotten. So all of us should strive to do something great and thus immortalize ourselves in the profession I would like to follow. My companions are planning to be doctors, engineers, and chartered accountants. When they grow up, some of them even went to join the Army, Navy, Air Force, and lead an adventurous life. But my plans are quite different from theirs. I would like to be a social worker. When I pass my SSC exam, I shall take a degree in social service. There is much scope for social service in India. Our countrymen are poor, helpless, and ignorant. I should consider it a matter of pride and pleasure to help them. I have great plans for helping the poor. I shall organize a literacy drive. I shall see that everyone learns to read and write. I shall try to move the government to provide them with clean, decent houses. I shall teach them to live in hygienic way. I shall try to improve the health of the poor by encouraging them to go for periodic checkups at government medical centers. Thus, most diseases can be checked in an initial stage. I shall try to encourage poor children to go in for a higher education and give them all the help I can. I know that all these things cannot be achieved within a short time. It takes many years to do anything worthwhile, yet I shall never give up trying to make any less fortunate countrymen lead to a cleaner, healthier, and happier life. I am aware that mine will not be paying profession, but money is not everything. I shall be happy to render service to my people. No one can deny that there is more pleasure in giving than in receiving. So I shall devote myself to serving my countrymen and be happy in the thought that I am helping others. Would you prefer wisdom or wealth? There are all kinds of people in this world. Some are wise, some wealthy. Nature does not distribute her gifts equally to all human beings, so some have to be satisfied with the gift of wisdom and others with the gift of wealth. Wisdom is a priceless gift of the gods. Very few people possess it. We might come with age and experience. Wealth means riches of money. Any fool can have money. Money without wisdom is useless. Great wealth in the hands of the fool can soon be squandered away by him. As the saying goes, a fool and his money are soon parted. Even money needs to be spent wisely. A wise man is respected wherever he goes. He is consulted by kings and leaders. His advice is considered valuable. He is looked upon by all. A wealthy man does not command the same respect as the wise man. Many people might pretend to be his friends. They might flatter him because they hope to get favors out of him. But he will have to know true friends. People will be his friends for selfish reasons. Wisdom is a permanent possession. It cannot be taken away from us. Wealth can be lost in many ways. It can also be stolen or robbed. Then the wealthy man will become poor, but the wise man can never be deprived of his wisdom. So wisdom is preferable to wealth. Changing fashions. Fashions are constantly changing. They never remain the same. Much money is spent by people to buying things that are the latest fashion. People follow fashion because they like novelty. The same old things do not please them. They like to be fashionably dressed so that people might notice them. There is nothing really new about fashion. The same old fashions come back as new fashions after a number of years. For example, it was the fashion of men in 16th and 17th centuries to have long hair.